Hi, Elaine here. I am back. Sorry, I had to take a break, so I am here to do the week ahead. And I just wanted to say also to honor your cycles wherever you're at, or if you feel like you need to take time for yourself, do it. It is okay. Um, we do have responsibilities and whatnot, but also there is a responsibility to yourself. So figure to not figure it out, but to um, honor yourself in needing in your needs as well, and not just keep going. So I'm back from a little break that I took, and then do want to wish everyone a happy new year. This is a new calendar year of 2025. So, yay, we're starting a new year. Energetically, the new year for astrology starts in March with the Aries season. So, here we are. I am going to do a little bit of a different reading. I'll see if I like this setup a little bit more, but I believe in change and adaptability and flowing, and this just felt a little better, especially since I am starting recording this on the second, and I do plan on doing this for uh the second to the 12th, and then I'll try to get back to the weekly unless I like this, and then we'll just do bi-weekly. Okay, so the setup is I just asked for a collective for the next 2 weeks, approximately 11 days, uh, an activation and a lesson. And then I'll go into each individual card, and then I'll do possible, the normal possible issues or obstacles, and then possible solutions, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so the activation cards that I got are integration, and this is a frequency of integration uh, supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. Communication, the frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every single piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart, the center of our truth, to stay in flow of source and balance exchange. And then belief. The frequency of belief supports our sense of self worth based on our gifts and talents and strong connection to source. So when I first pulled these cards, it was, I feel like I started thinking about New Year's resolutions and how people all like this starts to be a setup for change throughout the year. I definitely encourage people to look at their things that they want to change throughout the year, but not to feel pressured to make a decision in January. So um that's something for me. But the integration, what I am being called to, is it's kind of like the reflection of what happened in the past year, what you want to move forward with, and kind of pulling those together and knowing, like, how it says positive or negative, and harmonizing it in the balance. It's like kind of letting go of the past 2024, taking the lessons that you had and moving forward, and not, I feel like, balancing it versus being stuck. or pulled back, and it's like we are constantly moving forward, and that's kind of the integration that I am sensing. In communication, I always feel like this comes up a lot when I do the collective readings, and I feel like this is just, we get a lot of data throughout the our days. We are connected to the internet. We have family, friends, co-workers, etc., and there's just a lot of information, and I feel like this is really asking you to connect to your heart, because what I'm being drawn to is both incoming and outgoing through our heart, or running the information through our heart. And it's really, I feel like, where do you want to go with, what do you want to do, how do you want to live your life, and being more heart based on that versus being in our mind. And what's also coming to mind, because then I started looking at the belief card, is that the limitations that we put on ourselves in what we perceive we can and can't do. And there is just like, and a lot of that is, like the card says, is our belief supports our sense of self-worth. And sometimes we question our worthiness, and I feel like these are all, you know I'm actually being drawn to like journaling on closing out 2024 and starting 2025, and also not feeling pressured to have a certain standard is what's coming to mind. But how I'll stay with standard, and but that's not quite the word that I was looking for. It's it's moving through the year more heart centered versus having like a rigid list, and even flowing better with the energy and what you move through versus fighting it. I think that's where I was going with that. And just, we are all connected, and we are connected to source, and there is, the word flow keeps coming to mind, and kind of a movement through that. And maybe that's why I started with the honor your cycles, and um really tap into what your heart needs, what your soul needs, and feeling uh what you need to move forward. Okay, and so now we'll move to the lesson cards. We have the health card, which is funny because January, everyone is thinking about their health. I do think the health card is coming up. What I'm thinking of is like the common colds, all the colds that are, I know several people who've had colds over the past few weeks. I myself had a small cold that I thankfully got over really quickly. But it's just, I feel like I think it goes back to prioritizing you and what you need. And, um, you know, if prioritizing your health in whatever way that you need to, just taking those actions. And this card says, health, I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. So that is, you know, yes, we are a spirit. Um, we have this body, and we need to honor it and take care of our bodies the best we can. Not always easy, but that is what we have and we need to honor. So humor, I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. And I I created a post on Instagram about celebrating, and it's this kind of just, I feel like sometimes we get in a um, place where we can't see the humor, or we can't, we we're just stuck in the day to day. And this is just like a reminder to that, to just like find, there's certain things you cannot control, and there you just kind of, if it happens, you kind of gotta laugh at it and just be like, okay, I let that go. And kind of like transmuting that energy from, instead of frustration, to being, it is, I can't control it, I'm going to laugh at it because I just need to let it go. And that's kind of how I am sensing this. And it's really just changing and transmuting energy from one thing to another, and finding humor, and even just being light and lighthearted with your laugh and your fun. It is important we do, or I can say I do, kind of get stuck in my feels, and I need to feel my feelings and move through them. But at the end, the lightheartedness and the laughing and being able to bring back joy and is important as well. Judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. So this is kind of like, um not judging other people, not judging yourself. Whatever path we are on, we're all doing it. We're all trying to figure it out. It is okay. Don't, it just feels like being lighter on what you think should be or could be, and not, I feel like being flexible, not being so rigid. So those are our activations and lessons. And then I'll go ahead and jump into our cardinal signs. And thank you, everyone. And if you want to use your timestamp below, just please go ahead and jump to your cards. All right. Cardinal signs. So we have leveling up. That was the energy and achievement. I've been using my color cards. So we have fear, sweetness, and protection. And then we have take a step back, take charge, and action. So there's a little bit of back and forth here. I do feel very drawn. It's interesting because a lot of this is purple and pink. And we do have the sweetness in the middle. Um, I'm just going to pull a possible obstacle and then a possible solution, and then we'll get into what we're looking at. Okay. I'm just going to adjust the camera. Okay. Make sure you can see everything. All right. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. So I feel like, one, there is a lot of energy on completing something and getting something um, done or achieved or completed, and going to the next level after that completion. But there is fear and kind of like of that unknown of what you're going to move into. Um, and, you know, so the black cards are basically, um, they are cards that, they're, I don't know, my brain went blank. But what I want to say is, like, black is basically all the colors, and it is also a protection card. And we actually have protection as well. And sometimes the black cards, or the color black, is also has a negative connotation. I don't think so. I think it is a power color, and very protective, and absorbs negative energy. I'm thinking of crystals of obsidian, and well, my brain is just gone. But obsidian is coming to mind, and black tourmaline. So I think there is a lot of thoughts going on, uh, or at least emotions, as to what is, because we have two pentacles, and then we have, so, and two cups. Um, so it just feels like there's a little bit of back and forth. Even the guidance cards, there's a take a step back and then take charge and action. And I just feel like that is like a back and forth. And what I feel like is, as whatever you're completing, this is over a 2 week period, whatever, even if it's just thoughts, or like, now I finally have an idea that I'm going to move forward on. Just take your time. Don't feel pressured. There may be a fear of like what's going to happen. Just know that you got this. Run it through your heart space. Know, kind of plan it out, and know that yes, you may have to be a little flexible, a little able to maneuver and pivot when needed, but there is protection. Don't get stuck in negativity, because actually I think that's the protection, and the Seven of Wands. So these are our obstacles, these are possible solutions, and it's like creating those boundaries. Barriers came up for whatever reason. That was the word that I wanted to use, but it's like letting those go. And the Seven of Cups, you may be kind of in a period of, or trying to make a choice or force a choice. And I feel like you don't have to. Take a step back. If you don't know what you want to move forward on, or where you want to go, take that break. Look at it and decide what you're going to move forward on. And then for possible solutions, we have the Four of Pentacles. I always feel like the Four of Pentacles is, she's clutching the bag. You kind of have to not be so rigid, and not be so protective, and take the risk. That's kind of what is coming up. What, they're controlled is coming up too. And there's like just a little bit of loosening of what you can and can't control, and moving forward on that. The Knight of Cups, knights are usually movement, and what I'm feeling like is, if there is something that you feel has a possibility, review it, move on it. Is there a way that you can possibly say, yes, I'll do it, or wait, I'll think about it, and then yes, I will do it. And then if it is not what you thought it was, can you pivot, or leave it, or quit it, or not do it, but I do feel like there is, aces are new beginnings, but you kind of have to move forward on them and put energy. It's not just going to fall into your hands. It is something that you have to work towards and be able to accept a possibility is kind of the idea that just popped into my head. But um what it feels like is accepting an offer that you're not quite sure about, or even um, being at the right place, right time is also coming to mind, and just trusting that divine timing that it is, I thought about it, it's time to go, let's do it. And something about growth there. Um, I'm just going to look over the cards real quick. The integration card is calling, and I feel like this might be something of a lesson from last year moving into 2025. What you want to do, where you want to go. Let's see, is there. I'm also being drawn to the judgment card, and I feel like there is some. I'm being pulled to the communication card as well. So, judgment and communication. Maybe there's something that you have to either talk to somebody about, or even journal or write, journal, or like move through an expression for yourself and understand or forgive that there was harshness is the word that once come through too, of like where you were, or I want to say where you were and you judged too harshly, and that might be towards yourself or another person. And the fear card is also calling me back to it, and I just feel like open the door. It's okay to just look through and see what's happening. um all right, I feel like that is complete. Okay. Okay, thank you, Cardinal Signs. I will move on to the fixed signs. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you very much. All right, fixed signs. So we got unconditional love, reflection, bravery, ideation, ghost. Actually, it came out like that. Earth and ground, and no. So let's pull some cards. And this is for fixed signs. And first, we're going to pull our possible obstacles. Okay, we got 2 kings. And then we're going to pull our possible solutions. All right, we got a fixed signs. We got a lot going on. All right, I'll just fix everything. So all right, so unconditional love, 2424, 666, reflection, 717, bravery. Um, And then we have the ideation, and then ghost, and then earth and grounding, and no. And then we have Seven of Swords, King of Cups, King of Swords, the High Priestess, Four of Wands, uh, and Strength and Lovers. Possible obstacles, possible solutions. So immediately I am being drawn to the belief card, and I feel like there is maybe some doubts, some questions, or concerns as to where we're going. And maybe that has to do with the new year and feeling like, what am I doing? Um, and what, or, oh, maybe even, are we doing the right thing? And I feel like I'm being drawn to the bravery card. There is some need to step up, step through, and do what you need to do, versus trying to um, be stuck, or not believe and not move forward. The next card I am being drawn to is the reflection and the King of Cups. Maybe this is something emotional that you need to process and move through. And, King of Cups is mature and does know how to process his emotions, and is very stable. And I feel like very heart centered. And it's interesting. I want to be drawn to the unconditional love as well. Um, and I feel, this kind of feels, I may be wrong, or maybe it's situational, but it feels kind of like a internal, that it is towards self, and not truly, or not towards anyone else. And I feel like our fixed signs are looking for clarity, because I am looking at the King of Swords. So these are possible obstacles. So if you don't feel emotionally clear, or you don't have the clarity, or even with the Seven of Swords, being not quite honest with yourself is maybe the problem. And, maybe this is why this is being reflected upon. And, or even like the unconditional love. Unconditional love is trusting yourself, moving forward, not questioning whether or not somebody will be there for you, or that you yourself will not show up for yourself. Um, and that it's kind of hard. So I feel like these are a lot of, I kind of want to say, a lot of thoughts that are bringing up emotions. So ideation is basically, ideations are what thoughts are, kick the camera. Sorry guys. Um, New ideas, and where do you want to take them? And, we're in the new year. This is a time where we feel a lot of pressure to create, to change, to do something. And I just feel like this is focusing on where, what do you want to create? Where do you want to be creative? How do you want to be creative? And I'm actually being drawn to the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is your subconscious, your inner knowledge. So maybe there is a drive to do something creative that you haven't really followed through yet. And I actually feel like maybe you keep saying no to it when it should be a yes. So just really look through that, or fill into that. Ghost is a problem that keeps occurring that won't go away because you're not dealing with it. So be be aware of that if there is an issue that keeps recurring, what are you doing that has not changed? So our guidance cards are earth and ground, and no, I feel like this is almost kind of like a slowing down and balancing. And I'm being drawn to the integration card and not and the communication card, not being so much in your head. That's kind of not having being drawn to the judgment card as well. I feel like it's like a loop that just keeps occurring and not being stuck in that loop, letting it go. If it's a no, if it's not working for you, it is okay to pivot. It's okay to change. You don't have to. The solution cards, they're mostly major arcana versus, you know, so what you need to focus on is more. I actually keep getting drawn to the humor and the Four of Wands of celebrating, of being in that energy versus being in this energy of a mental loop, an emotional loop of being kind of not honest with yourself or seeing things not as clearly as you think. That like kind of like a warped reality. The strength and the lovers, I just feel like that is a balance. Both of them, I want to read them as a balance and finding the balance for yourself and really integrating and moving through what works for you versus focusing on what doesn't work for you. And again, the judgment card is coming up, and that might be something where you've judged your own path and where you're at, and you got to let it go. You can't get stuck in that energy. It is okay. Um, and the high priestess is calling me back. So I higher self, maybe connecting, meditating, and connecting with your higher self and finding the solutions that you need versus maybe go outside. I'm being called back to the earth and grounding card, or earth and ground. Slowing down. And I just feel like it's really just giving yourself the space and time versus being in this loop of I'm doing stuff wrong. That's kind of the I I feel like it's kind of like you're in this loop of thinking, positive or negative. I keep thinking of it as like just thinking, but it needs to start being more creative and not it just I feel like there's something there about being creative and expressing. I am being drawn to the health card, so if there is something health wise happening, or if you want to start focusing on your health, I think uh, that is something that we probably can all do. Let me see if there's anything else for fixed signs that I'm drawn to. I keep getting drawn to the Four of Wands, and I just feel like there's something about having more fun and not being so worried about what isn't working. Yeah, I feel like it because I'm being drawn to the humor card, like laughing more, enjoying life more, doing more fun things, um, going out, finding that balance. Being softer with yourself, I think, is another one. Okay, I feel like this is complete for our fixed signs. Thank you guys very much. I hope to see you again in the following reading. Thank you. And I will post these on Instagram. I might not be able to post the tarot cards. We'll see. Okay, we got our mutable signs. So we have vulnerability and freedom, trust the universe. Oh no, I did it backwards. We have mindfulness, sanctuary, creativity, and space. All right. And then we'll pull some cards. We'll pull the possible obstacles first for our mutable signs. And then we'll pull our solutions, which I actually had a whole. All right, I'll figure that out. Okay. All right. So we have the mindfulness for our mutable signs, sanctuary, creativity, space, vulnerability, and freedom, trust the universe. And then for our possible obstacles, we have the Nine of Cups, the Devil, the Six of Swords. We for our solutions, we have the Tower reverse, Ace of Pentacles, Page of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Five of Cups. Okay, so let's see where I am drawn for this reading. I'm being drawn to the health card. So if there's something health wise happening, take care of it. Or if you are being drawn to working out, taking care of yourself, changing your diet, etc., take those baby steps and start changing. I feel like I'm being drawn to the mindfulness card, and it just feels like not not going cold turkey or trying to rush something, taking care of yourself. It is a lifelong process. We all have to learn how to do it, and it is an up and down thing, and taking your time and taking care of yourself. For the sanctuary card, I actually kind of feel like saying that our body is our sanctuary. So maybe there is something health wise that if you are not taken care of, this is now someone else telling you to take care of it. I don't mean to laugh inappropriately, but I, I feel like there's a little bit of a like you've had the thought, but now you have to have somebody else tell you. So that is what is coming to mind. Um, the space card, I really feel like this is taking your space, taking what you need, and doing what you have to. And I'm actually drawn to the vulnerability and the freedom card. And I feel like sometimes even saying or feeling like you have to change something health wise is vulnerable, but it's also like when you take that or put your cards on the table, you no longer have to hide it, and you're kind of free from that burden in a way. Um, I'm also being drawn to the trust the universe and the high priestess. And I feel like there's something here that you have been working towards or want to happen, and you kind of know that it may happen. Just trust your higher self, trust your subconscious, that whatever is bubbling up to the surface is something that you are aware of, or that the universe will provide for you. I'm also being drawn to the Five of Cups, and I feel like it's something along the lines that you never thought or you didn't think would really happen, and you just kind of been moving through the motions. Um, so I feel like this is a solution card. For some reason, day to day is coming up. Um, let's see where I'm being drawn to, and I feel like okay, so maybe it's these two. So in the card, she's pretty bored and she's just pouring out and just feels kind of like blah. And I feel like there's something along the lines of if you're feeling like this, to start bringing something more creative, and um, passion is coming to mind too. Something that you are more uh, awake is the word that I was just provided, but it feels like something where you are more alive, more passionate, and more just more or lit up about versus the blah. I'm just moving through my day to day and I'm bored and stagnant. Okay. So I'm being called to look at these ones. So our possible obstacles. There is Nine of Cups is like a fulfillment, and the devil is our attachments and bonds and chains that kind of hold us. I'm also, it is a Capricorn card, but this is for the mutable signs. So maybe it's just Capricorn season. And the Six of Swords. So I feel like, in a way, there's something that you think that needs to happen to in order to be happy or fulfilled, that you need to let go of. Um, and I kind of feel like that is not something everyone wants to hear. Um, but it feels like letting this thing go, something else will take its place. And it's kind of a thought that that you think this will take you to the next level or that will make you happy, but it's just I actually want to go back to this card, the 5 of cups, where it's just like you keep feeling this way, but since that thing is not happening, you keep feeling this way, but you kind of have to let that go in order to let something else come in, and that something else may be better. And I'm going back to the trust the universe card, that trusting that, you know, all the ideas that we have, they are limited in some way. And I'll even say that for myself, that I I think I have to have something in a certain way, but if I give the universe the space or the time, something better than I actually thought I wanted or needed comes along. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from those cards. I also feel like that may make shifts and changes. This is the Tower reverse, but I feel like this is kind of you letting go and allowing those changes to come through versus trying to force it. And that's kind of the solution there, and the growth happening. And finally, that inspiration that this card needs, that, okay, I'm ready to do this. So aces are new beginnings, potential, and this usually has something to do. Finances is the easy one for pentacles, but something earthly. Um, but you actually have to show up to receive these. They don't just fall into your hands. It is like an offering, and if you're able to pick it up and go with it, is when you get it. Um, and I'm going back to the belief card. So I feel like in the 5 of cups. So I feel like there's also a little bit in the trust the universe, a little bit of you've done something and now you just need to let the pieces fall into place. This is not a rush and make something happen thing. I am being drawn back to the creativity card, and both the mindfulness and the sanctuary. This is something that you've worked towards, and it is, it's not, the pieces aren't fitting, but you can't force the pieces together. You have to start giving some space and letting something go. I don't know exactly. I feel like it's like the idea or how exactly you want it, the exact idea of something, that you want it to be exactly how you imagined it, but it can't happen, or it's not happening exactly how you imagine it. So you're kind of like blocking it and pushing it away. But if you stop resisting, I feel like something will fall into place and work out for you. And it may even create a new idea for you, and a new direction, or something better than you had actually thought was possible. Okay, I'm just going to quickly look at everything and make sure. The sanctuary is calling me, and I really feel like that is health wise and maybe even um emotional or um mental, I want to say. And like what is it? I feel like just taking care of yourself. So if there's something that you need a break on, or um, give yourself a break, or something you need, I would say examine it, look at it, and if you can, do it. Um, because I keep just feeling like this is body wise. Okay, so for our mutable signs, I believe that is it for your reading. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. And you guys take care. Bye.